Thank you for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast with Falicia Fracassi, CEO of a chain of beauty lounges and medical spas in multiple states. She even self-funded her real estate portfolio. Her mission is to empower you with short, on-the-go business tips and advice to help you successfully start and run your company like a boss. And now, here's your host, Beauty Boss Millionaire, Falicia Fracassi.
Welcome to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Falicia Fracassi. The title of this is Hiring Your First Employee. Should it be friends, family, or none of the above? And the objective is to help new and existing entrepreneurs and business owners find the right employee, whether that would be friends or family or whoever. I just want to help you through this process because it can be really confusing if you're not really sure what to do. People always tell you not to mix friendship with business and family with business just because there's a separate line of a different relationship versus business where it's more serious. It's more, people need to kind of listen to what you're saying. This is not just me. You don't want someone looking at you like, oh, that's just my little sister or just my, it's just my friend. I know what's best. But when you're in charge of the operation, they need to, one, respect you. And there needs to be one leader or else it's not going to run properly. So people always ask me, is it okay to hire friends and family? Here is my clear answer. If they are willing to listen and take the low role and help you and serve you and take orders, and they have a sense of humility around you, then yes. But if they are a know-it-all, if they are late all the time, they don't respect your time, they're not listening to what you're saying, they're talking back in front of clients, there should be no proof of that there's a different relationship when a customer sees you all interact. That's how deep this goes. My aunt, who is like a mother to me, I speak a lot about her, Dr. Rosetta Gary's. She actually had my cousin Jeffrey work for her for the longest in her office, and he ran her office in New York City and Manhattan for many years. He would be there on time, he would be early, he would answer the phone, and no one for years ever knew that that was her nephew, my cousin, and no one ever knew that they were family. Because one, he respected her, and two, he listened to what she would ask, and three, he would get the job done. Finding someone like that is almost priceless because some people cannot separate the relationship they had with you previously to this new relationship, which is them listening to you. And it may seem simple, but it's actually not. And this even goes for husband and wife. If your wife or your husband is one of those people where they can't listen to you or they question you and they're asking you questions while the customer is watching and fighting back and forth, this is not for them. You might want to just go ahead and hire someone else or just get someone else that is humble enough to listen. And I keep on using this word humility because it's really important that the person can understand what it is to be working around a boss. This doesn't mean you're giving really mean orders or you're talking harshly, but it does mean that you have 100 things to worry about. And if you ask for that one thing to be done, you need to make sure that's done because you've got 10,000 other things to do in the course of that day, and they need to be able to keep up with you. And if they can't, you might just want to have someone that doesn't have any other relationship with you and just bring them on board and hire them. Even if you're in a situation where you say, hey, look, I'm not really ready for my first employee, but I'm willing to work with you. And sometimes people will say, you know what? I just want to get out the house. I can volunteer my services once a week or twice a week to help you out. And that's how it starts out. And maybe you can exchange with services as long as it's in writing and they're not punching in and out on a clock. I think that's fair to say. But usually your friends and your family love you. So it's good to go to them first and see if there's some type of deal you can work out. Because there's going to become a time where you're going to get really, really busy and you're going to need some help. And I do want to go back to this husband and wife thing because I know a lot of couples at first they decide to have this business and they're just realizing that this is a disaster. I repeat, if you are in a marriage or in a relationship where you guys are going to be working together, there needs to be a conversation prior that you guys, no matter what, will not show that you guys are having any type of disagreements or any type of arguments. And you can't really bring that energy into the workplace because it causes tension and everyone feels it. And it's just very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Even when my husband first worked in our first store, I think people didn't even know he was my husband because he was so good and he would call me by my name, Falicia. He didn't dress me babe or honey or boo thing. It was all professional. Falicia, hey, you have a client coming in at 1:00. All right, you have your next appointment's at 2:00. As he was discussing these things with me, he was having people fill out forms and really just kind of staying in that professional mode. And then when we walked out, we would go to the parking lot. I would give him a kiss and a hug and say, woohoo, we made money today. And we were all happy. But my point is that when we were in that building, we were so careful. I mean, really careful to keep that role professional. I remember sometimes we go in the back room and kiss each other, and then we come back out on the floor like, okay, back to work mode. I'm laughing about this, but I swear any couple that knows what I'm talking about, they're probably laughing at listening to me right now, because it is true. It's like you have that role of business together, but then there's a separate role of I love you and you're my partner and I'm so happy that we're working together. But in my best advice, try to get someone else that doesn't have such a close, intimate relationship, because, as much as I love my husband or you love your wife or whoever, you don't really want them working with you all the time. That could be nerve-wracking and very stressful. Another thing that I want to just mention is that if you can't find any of those people, make sure you find someone that has your heart and that has your mind. And what I mean by that is they have to have that same type of mentality that you have. The basic standards of, saying please and thank you, giving good customer service, being really careful with the clients, following instructions, and really just embodying what your vision is. Because, you can have people that really don't see your vision. And it may require for you to sit down with them and explain, hey, look, this is what I want to do. This is my mission. Can you assist me and help me with this mission? Jesus was going across finding his disciples, because that's really what you're going to do. You're going to be finding your disciples to help you. And, he would go to them and say, hey, look, he explained this is what my mission is. And John the Baptist, okay, I'm coming with you. And then he told the other guys, come on. And there's Peter. He called Peter. And then he actually went to a guy and he asked them to come with him. And they said, oh, well, first, let me just go bury my family members. And Jesus was so blunt. He was like, well, let the dead bury the dead. Like, come on, just come with me. And people sometimes don't understand that, but he already seen what their position was. And sometimes you'll find people that will follow you and they want to help you and they want to uplift you. And then you'll have some people that don't know anything, but they're willing to listen. And that alone uplifts you. I've had family members that I, wanted to bring on board, but they were unwilling to listen to the business side of myself, because when you're in that role, the phone's ringing, you've got emails to answer, your time is limited, the door's flying open with customers. Before you know, you're booming, the event's about to start, all kinds of things can go wrong. So it's like you're already on a bed of needles, and one wrong thing could really damage that relationship. So they have to also understand and make them sign paperwork. I'm one of the biggest people about signing paperwork, because people need to understand what they're getting themselves into. Have them sign paperwork. Look, this is what we're going to do and this is what we're not going to do. I think we're kind of running over time, so I want to wrap this up. We're going to do a part 2 on this about how to hire your first employee and how to take it and how to really look for the right person. We've already went through a few things, but now we're going to go into part 2. Thanks for tuning in to Beauty Boss Millionaire with Falicia Fracassi.
That's it for today. Tune in tomorrow for the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. And don't forget to follow the Beauty Boss Millionaire, Falicia Fracassi, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Beauty Boss Millionaire.